welcome back to Doesn't Cast Wellness Tarot. Hope everyone's doing well. This is another journal entry. This is where I share something that I've journaled about because I think it would be helpful, or it may spark or inspire someone else to pick up a journal and start utilizing that tool. Remember that this is a general message, so if it resonates, claim it. If it does not, leave it behind. It's for entertainment purposes only. And so, this journal entry is about my dad. And I'd like to read to you some of what I've been sort of writing over the last couple of days. So 10 years ago, on the 16th of August, my dad lost his long battle with cancer and he transitioned. Our relationship was complicated in the last 10 to 15 years, which always leaves a scar in terms of the grieving process. Forgiveness can be extremely difficult, but it's essential to our personal growth. And carrying such a heavy burden or a heavy weight because of complications in a relationship, meaning that it was, less than perfect or less than ideal. And I don't know any relationship that is perfect or ideal, but it leaves you with a lot of woulda, shoulda, couldas, and a lot of regrets, possibly. And it can do some serious damage and feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. In the last few months of my dad's life, we got close again. I put my hurt feelings aside, and I did what I needed to do. It was a challenge to navigate, as I was dealing with the loss of my mom, scared to death that now I'm going to go through this a year later, watching my father decline. I had just been diagnosed with anxiety, panic disorder, and depression. And to say that I was struggling would be an understatement. My dad told me that he was also experiencing anxiety and panic attacks. Understandable, given his circumstances. We had so many conversations about that. And somehow, organically, it just sort of fell into place that I became his support person, for lack of a better word. He would call me at all hours of the day and night when he was anxious or panicked. And I would try to be compassionate and understanding and supportive and share some of the tips and tools that I used to help me. And each time it worked. And each time he was calmer. And he told me many times that I was the only person that seemed to understand, that could get through to him. I'm so grateful that I was able to offer him that kind of understanding and support. He really needed it in those moments. And without knowing it at that time, that was helping to heal some of the past pain that I was carrying and the hurt from our rocky relationship. I remember thinking that he was so vulnerable in those moments. It was a side of my dad that he didn't let many people see. He kept that hidden from himself and from pretty much everyone else around him. With the 10th anniversary of his passing, I have been thinking an awful lot about him over the past couple of days. I have reminisced about him, and I have shared some stories here on the channel. And I thought of another story that sort of came out when I was journaling, and I'm positive that I've mentioned this before, but I wanted to share it again. So last summer I was out in my backyard, and this giant blue jay, pretty much the biggest blue jay I have ever seen, landed on my fence in my backyard, directly across from me, like right in my view. Now, what is the association to a blue jay? Well, I'm in Canada, in Ontario, and we have the Toronto Blue Jays as our baseball team. And one of the, many members of the Blue Jays from like the 1990s and, the early 90s, my father knew personally. And so it made sense to me that blue jay came to visit. So this blue jay sat on the fence and made all kinds of squawking noises and like really tried to get my attention. And then he flew right towards me, and I have a little water fountain in the backyard. I'm sorry it's so noisy. I'm in the living room with all the windows open, enjoying the cool breeze, and you would never know that I live in a small town with no traffic lights because of the amount of traffic that's going on. But anyway, so this bird flew into the water fountain, and it's just a tiny little water fountain, and it was like he was trying to get a drink, but he couldn't like achieve the right angle because he was so big. So I was kind of giggling, but I was watching in complete fascination as this bird tried to navigate the water. And then there's a bird bath that sits right next to the water fountain, and then the bird flew to the bird bath. That bird drank and flapped his wings and danced around and frolicked and sang and chirped, and just that bird entertained me for a good 20 minutes straight. I smiled and I laughed and I giggled out loud, and I knew it was my dad. That was his thing. His thing was to entertain. His thing was to make people happy. He wanted nothing more, and nothing more pleased him than to bring a smile to someone's face. It's a lovely memory. It makes me want to go sit in the backyard and wait for another blue jay to come by. My dad was the fun dad. All the kids wanted to come to our house because our dad was the fun one. He loved to have a party or to be a part of a celebration. Getting dressed up was his favorite thing to do. He loved to dance. He literally taught me how to disco dance. He was a complete people person. He loved to tell his stories. He was extremely handy at home improvements. He loved the outdoors, camping and fishing and snowmobiling and boating. He loved to play cards and games. He loved playing the spoons and was really, really good at it. And I could go on for days about memories of my dad playing the spoons and entertaining, whomever in any setting. He loved a good home-cooked meal. He loved old Western movies. He loved his buttermilk and his cinnamon danishes. He didn't like controversy. He didn't like chaos. And he didn't like dealing with things head on. I have a lot of my father in me. And I'm proud to have a lot of my daddy in me. I think I have some of his best qualities. And I sit here today thinking about him. And I wonder what his message would be for us. For me, for my sister, for our family. Or just general. Because I think we could all learn something from someone who doesn't like to show their vulnerability or to always be working so hard to portray themselves in a certain way. I mean, it must be exhausting, right? So let's pull some cards and let's see what message my dad might have. My dad never had a funeral. There was a celebration of life, and he was interred onto a piece of private property. So we can't go there. I wasn't actually even invited, to be honest, by my father's wife. I got an invite from another member in the family. Well, not even an invite, just saying, like, are you going? And I didn't go. My sister was on vacation. I knew it was the right decision for me. But just like my mother, and not to take this away from my dad, but just like my mom, there was no closure, if you will. There was no finality to the process. It's like I seen him, I got the call that he died, and that was it. Which I feel was very confusing and hard to wrap my head around, to be perfectly honest. And the fact that it happened to both my parents really did a number on me. Well, that card fell on the floor. Pardon me. So the first card that we have out, wow. Family. Family. Like them, love them, or not. You know, the good, the bad, the in-betweens, The good times, the bad times, the struggles, the challenges, the celebrations, the achievements. It's a journey. Answers. It's interesting because I feel like, we have so many questions when it comes to loss and grief. Are they okay? Do they know I was there? Do they know I love them? Do they know I care? But I think that deep down inside, we know the answer. If we listen to our heart, we know the answer. That's what those two cards are talking to me about anyway. That we were a unit. Despite the challenges, we were a unit. There was a love that united us. And I know that. Deep down inside, I know that. Life purpose. I know what this means. My father, God love him, as well as his brothers and sisters, did not have a solid foundation when they were growing up. I mean, that is like an understatement. My dad was the oldest. He tried so incredibly hard to provide his family, meaning my sister and I, with all the things that he did not have. He was overwhelmed, unprepared, sometimes out of control, especially near the end of my parents' marriage. I think he had the best of intentions, and I really, truly believe that his life purpose was to sort of course correct the past and show others, show himself, that he could and would have that family unit, that love, that bond. That flipped right over inside the deck. 2. Passion and peace. And if you allow yourself to do what you're passionate about, you allow yourself to love, or if you're lucky enough to love what you do, that brings you peace and joy. Let's throw a couple of tarot cards. We've got the Three of Cups. Celebration, family, joy, cooperation. The Seven of Cups. Choices, procrastination, having a hard time making decisions, not always maybe choosing what we think is right for us, or feeling pressure to make the right choice. To the point where you overwhelm yourself, or that you stress yourself out, or that you walk away from making the decision altogether because you're so, caught up in the semantics of it. The Eight of Wands. Do you guys hear the bird chirping? Messages, information, speed, things happening quickly. All right, Daddy, one more card. The Three of Pentacles. Collaborations, partnerships, making plans, working together. On the bottom of the deck, we've got Temperance, moderation, and control. So first of all, I want to say thank you to my dad for such an awesome message. And secondly, I want to say that I get this. This speaks to me. This speaks to me. Listen to your heart. Let it be your North Star. Be passionate. Be happy. Surround yourself with friends and family, like-minded people, your soul tribe. Don't get caught up and hung up on decisions and what the right thing to do is. Everything in moderation and control, everything in balance will help you to have the clarity that you need with the Answers card and help you to decipher what you're passionate about and help you to achieve a sense of peace. So in other words, be happy, be kind, and live your best life. Beautiful. Thanks everybody for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I hope that someone found this helpful. I wish you many blessings until we see each other again. Bye for now.